Cars. So much of our lives rely on them whether we know it or not. We use them every day and have been doing so for decades. And on top of that, we have developed a fondness for cars, a bond with them that stems beyond just a human and its mode of transportation. But isn't that all that it really is? A mode of transportation? Cars are a focal point in our media and culture, but why has our society become so fond of them? Even to the point of obsession, maybe. I decided to find out for myself just what makes these high-velocity hunks of steel and aluminum so special. But how would I find the answers to what I've been looking for? And furthermore, where would I find them?
This is the place where I'm going to find all the answers to what I've been looking for.
Chanhassen High School. Nay, the Chanhassen High School basement. I would be lying if I said I'd been down there plenty of time, but I assure you, my initial hesitation and pants pissing at just the thought of going down there was not unwarranted. They tell stories of the Chan basement. Horrible, grotesque stories. Stories of students hiding under the staircase. Stories of students who could hack the school at any minute using what they learned down there. And of students that choose to use up an elective spot on ceramics. But I had to put those thoughts away. I needed answers, and nothing was gonna stop me. Not even liberal arts students. Right over there is the shop. It's so secluded and separated from the rest of the school building. It's almost unnerving, even. Luckily, I realized that I had an in to the shop with my friend Tyler, who frequented the place to work on his truck. Hopefully, Tyler would be able to assist me in learning what makes these unique whips so gnarly. Alright, so Tyler, what are we doing here?
I am sanding down the bumper on my truck right now.
Do you mind if we sit down and I talk to you and ask some questions?
Sure.
Alright, let's go. Hi Tyler, thanks for talking with me. Your hands you got a lot of grease. Can you show the camera the grease on your hands?
There's not that much.
Why do you have all this grease on your hands, Tyler?
Working on my car.
Is it this right here?
Yes.
How long have you had it?
3 years?
3 years. What made you, what got you into cars in the first place?
I don't know. I've always been into cars.
So Tyler, anything you have to say to people who see your truck in the parking lot and think that you're a hick?
I see myself as normal.
You are pretty normal.
Just with a sweet ass truck.
Yeah.
And it's old. It's not like I'm going off-road with it all the time.
All right.
It's 50. I might take through the mud a little bit, but I'm not gonna really go through. I'm not gonna be like all those kids that go through a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Because it's old and it's my baby.
Your baby. Why do you say it's your baby? What makes you so attached to your GMC?
Because I put a lot of time and work into it.
Time and work. Could this be the key to what makes a car special? The work that the owner puts into it? If so, I needed to understand just what putting time and work into one's car really meant. What is it like working on your truck, Tyler?
Good and bad at the same time.
Why is it good?
Because I like working on it and it makes me happy when I get something done.
That's good.
But
Why is it bad?
because sometimes when something doesn't work out, you get angry.
Okay.
It makes you mad.
What's some things you've done while you've been angry working on your truck?
Swear.
You swear? It was already clear that Tyler was passionate about his truck, even to the point of adopting a horrible sailor mouth. I pushed him further in order to truly understand that passion burning inside of him. What is the ideal outcome that you plan on for your truck? What is the main goal?
Well, there's a couple.
What is the final product of this right here? What does it look like, and what is it like? What does it have?
What does it have?
Yeah. When you're all done with your truck, what will it be like?
Well,
what are you hoping for?
Hopefully it won't leak any more oil.
Why is it leaking oil right now?
Because the rear main seal.
Okay.
It goes on the back of the engine. It's a seal to not let oil in.
Yeah, okay.
But you have to look at, you need a cherry picker.
All right, okay. What's hard about doing this?
Getting the bumper perfect.
Really? But you got the other one so nice. What's so hard about this one?
It has this little lip right there.
Oh, I see.
This little lip is kind of hard to make.
That does seem like, right? Okay.
All the way across.
How would you make this thing even?
With sandpaper.
Just a ton of sandpaper?
Sandpaper and sanding it with either a block or doing it all the way in.
I see. How long do you think it'll take to finish sanding this thing?
A long time.
How long would you like it to take?
Not very long.
I let Tyler finish his work as it was becoming increasingly clear that I was annoying him. I decided to talk with his friend Riley instead. Riley has spent every moment he can during school in the shop as well, and I was interested in hearing his insight on the world of cars and the time and work one puts into their own. What is it like working on your truck?
It is very nice to have a place where I can do it in warm indoor climates. You get very angry faster when you're cold.
What are some challenges that you have faced?
Well, currently I'm struggling with these plastic clip things right here that Ford decided to engineer. They're really hard to get out. I wish they would have just used screws.
How come screws would have been better?
Because they're metal, and unlike plastic like this, they don't break off and they come off really easily.
All right. Would you say your truck is better than Tyler's?
I would not say my truck is better than Tyler's because I've been looking one for 2 years. I bought this at a government auction for $2,700.
All right. What are you working on besides that plastic screw right there?
I'm trying to take this whole fender off to replace it because I hit a pole.
You hit a pole?
Yes.
Oh, how did that happen?
I was backing out and I cut it to the left too much, too.
How much will all of that cost to
Well, the new fender costs $40. This will probably cost $60.
Okay. What's the end goal for your truck? What's the perfect version of your truck?
I won't put too much money into it because it's not like Tyler's. I'd rather just have a truck and then I'll buy a nicer one later in life.
All right.
It's kind of like something I wanted bigger than. I had a Toyota Camry before.
Okay.
That I hauled around my boat with, and this is just nicer because it's got more room on board.
Okay. Well, thank you. After talking with Riley and Tyler, I couldn't help but feel confused. How could people become so invested in cars when it seemed as if it was a hobby filled with potential problems and spending? It was only when I talked more with Tyler when I started to really understand.
In a star pattern.
Why do you do it in a star pattern?
Because if you do all the way around, then you're gonna have loose ones. But if you do in a star pattern, you do every other, or something like that, and then you are opposite. You were able to tighten it better.
Okay. How long did it take you to learn all this very minute and detailed information?
I don't know. A long time. I don't know.
All right.
Because I went to school.
They didn't teach me this at school.
You never took a shop class. You never had Mr. Mumpson as a teacher.
This is the kind of stuff you learn in shop class?
Yeah.
Mr. Mumpson. I saw his picture in the hallway on my way to the shop, with an intriguing quote next to it as well.
The 5 Ps.
What are the 5 Ps?
Prior planning prevents poor performance.
Is that what you learned in this class?
Yeah.
How have you applied that?
Always come prepared. Always think ahead of what things that could happen.
What could happen if you don't practice the 5 Ps?
You could forget a step. You could not have everything you need and not be able to finish what you're doing.
Any examples of a time when not having the 5 Ps just hindered you in life in general? It doesn't have to be in shop class, just
Well,
Just anything.
I guess in shop class I can do one. Even on this truck, right now, I can't do the rear main seal because I need a cherry picker. So I have to wait to get a cherry picker that's available so I can lift the engine out so I can do the cherry picker so I can drop the oil pan.
So, it seems that the joy in working on cars didn't come just through an increase in value through your hard work and time, but also through its ability to teach lifelong healthy habits that could benefit you in seemingly any scenario. I decided to try and speak with Mr. Mumpson himself in order to gain a better understanding of the depth behind the shop class. Alright, hi.
How we doing?
What's your name?
Pete Mumpson.
Where are we right now?
We're in the Chanhassen Automotive and Welding Lab, metal fabrication room.
How long have you been the teacher for this this lab?
Well, Mark Lacey and I teach 17 different classes down in this area. And this area I mean by 5 different rooms, 2 computer labs and 3 physical lab spaces. So we've been here since the building opened. We helped design the rooms and order equipment.
Okay, all right. So, how would you say this class is different from other classes that you would find?
I think most, a lot of classes you're used to being told what to do all the time.
Right.
And this is kind of an open-ended, you have a problem, we need to fix it. The motor doesn't run. What do we do to fix it? It might be something that's out of my league and we have to do research. We might have to call in experts or professionals from outside the building that actually do this for a living and come in and help us, watch YouTube videos, make a lot of custom parts to fix things. And a lot of problems just pop up, as you go. It's not like you just go buy a part and plug it in. There's usually hours worth of just getting to the part and broken bolts and rusty bolts and cutting things apart with torches just to get to it. So we always say it, if you're fixing something with automotive, it's going to take 3 times as long as you expected it to.
Okay, which is different than just being in a math class and...
Yeah, we're going to get through this lesson today. When I have a administrator or boss come down to observe one of my classrooms or lessons, they could ask 2 days before what I'm going to be doing that hour, and I can't answer that question. Because it really depends on how far we get today. And it's just, time is a variable there that you can't control or predict.
It's not as absolute as 2 + 2 = 4.
No, not at all. No, we're constantly just figuring out problems, custom problems that go along the way.
Which brings me to a topic that Tyler and Riley brought up, which is the 5 Ps, which are, can you explain?
The 5 Ps, prior planning prevents poor performance. It's not something I made up by any means. The guys laugh about it because there's a poster in the hallway that Mr. Lacey printed out that's got my ugly mug on there that scares the custodians at night. It's just something that really hits home with all these projects. I mean, even if you were doing the smallest welding project or the smallest woodworking project, you still need a sketch, you still need a list of materials that you need to go buy or acquire before you do it. You shouldn't just wing it on any project down here, no matter how small it is, or it's going to be garbage.
Okay. Would you say that there have been plenty of times where if you didn't practice the 5 Ps in this alone, that problems would occur?
Yeah, accidents, problems, broken parts, broken supplies, broken tools. I mean, there's a whole mountain of scrap metal back there of junk, that was supposed to be a welding project, but the welds stink on it because the gas ran out in the middle of the weld and the student didn't realize that, and then there's big porous air pockets in the weld and it's junk. A lot of my students are capstone students, and I ask them almost every other day when they're struggling through stuff, are you making a capstone or are you making a crapstone? It's totally up to you. How much work you put into it, how much research before you start it, how your planning is, and how you follow through with that. And it all comes back to those 5 Ps.
All right. So with this mountain of preparation and potential problems that could occur, what do you have to say to people who are hesitant to just get started into something like all of this?
Well, there's a foundation of knowledge you have to have. You can't just walk in the door and sign up for a capstone course. You've got to have 2 classes in our department area to even get into a capstone in our area. And if it's going to be a physical project and you're going to be doing welding or fabricating or woodworking or machining metals, we have to have students take our materials and engineering processes course. And it's kind of like intro to everything. I teach our students in 1 semester how to use every single woodworking tool and machine and every single metalworking machine in these 2 rooms. So when you've got that under your belt and you're OSHA certified, you've got the safety training and, I guess confidence to use these tools, whether it's here at school or at grandpa's house or at a job, you can do it safely. And you can come down here during wind times, before school, after school. Even if somebody doesn't have a class with me, let's say the junior, and then I see them as capstone student or senior, guys that have that training can stop down here at any time outside of class and work on stuff of their own. It's like, that's the key to all these rooms during your career here at Chanhassen, is getting that intro class. Because I know that you've got the base training to use any of this stuff, so that's kind of our biggest stepping stone, getting in your foot in the door here in our area.
It seemed as if there were plenty of barriers to entry for taking a shop class. To find out how other students felt, I sent out a survey to get a consensus of the school's attitude towards cars and of the shop classes. After receiving the responses, I sat down with Tyler to bring in his perspective and reactions toward what other students had to say and their thoughts towards his beloved hobby. Hi, Tyler.
Hi.
So, I did a survey with Harlander's students. I have the responses right here. They said a lot of cool things about cars. Would you like to hear them?
Yeah.
I asked, have you ever taken a shop class at school? And 61% of people said no. What do you think of that?
I thought it'd be a little bit more.
What makes you think it would be more?
I don't know, because it seems to be pretty busy down there.
48% of people said they don't consider themselves a car person.
Well, what, 48%?
48% say they are not a car person.
That's actually, I thought it'd be a lot more. I thought it'd be like 80% said they are not a car person.
Most people said, the people who said no would say, because they don't interest me, because I don't care enough to learn about them. I have better things to do. I don't like cars. I don't care.
Well, cars are very important to know how to work on. If you drive one, you should at least know the basics.
Someone says they don't even drive cars.
Well, that person has an excuse then.
40% of people said when asked, would you consider working on cars an interesting hobby? 40% of people said no. 46% of people said yes, but the rest said depends, not all the time, sort of, don't care. So most people didn't say yes.
Most people said don't care.
Most people said no or something else, but not yes.
I expect that. Most people don't care about their car. That's why they all break down. Because they don't know how to take care of their car.
Okay.
It's a sad thing.
It is very sad. But hey, 77% of people said they do know someone who works on cars. That might be you.
Well, I hope for everyone to know or someone that works in a car for their own benefit, for their car.
Right. So the general consensus is most people either don't care about cars or flat out don't think cars are interesting. What would you say to them to change that?
Well, I don't know. For the people that don't care about cars, if you drive a car, you need to know how to work on it, at least the basics. So for one reason, if you take it to a shop, they'll try to rip you off if you don't know what you're doing. So it's always,
How will they rip you off?
like they'll tell you something that's bad with your car that's not really bad with your car and try to make you pay to replace it, even though you don't need to get more money out of you.
So it seems that in addition to a sense of value and healthy habit building, working on cars can also save you money. I've only scratched the surface of the world of cars, and yet I feel as if I've already learned so much, yet also so little. I've witnessed problems and learned of challenges faced while taking part in this hobby, yet these negatives bring about positives that I feel heavily outweigh the cons. Working on and taking an interest in cars involves problem solving, focus, and determination. I now know that the joy we receive from cars isn't solely from the car itself, but from the passion and spirit that working on it brings out in us. Hey Tyler, say something for the viewers back at home.
I forgot my safety glasses in his car.